One of the biggest questions fans have been asking ever since Robert Downey Jr was revealed as Dr. Doom at San Diego Comic-Con is what his actual storyline is going to be. Like, are we really getting Victor Von Doom, or could this just be a clever twist with him playing some kind of Tony Stark variant? Now, Marvel has gone on record and said that he is playing Victor Von Doom, but let's be real, they have lied to us before. Remember when they said Avengers 5 wasn't going to be called Endgame, but yeah, it ended up being the official title. They've made a habit of throwing us off the scent, especially with trailers. You think you're going to see one thing, and then the movie gives you something completely different. Case in point, Fantastic Four First Steps. And if you've already watched it, I dare you, go back and rewatch the trailers, spot the edits. You'll definitely catch the bait and switch Marvel pulled. But now, Robert Downey Jr may have just dropped a pretty telling hint about where things are headed for Dr. Doom's arc. And if we're interpreting this right, fans might be in for something surprisingly satisfying. Why? Because it could mean Robert Downey Jr isn't exactly playing the Dr. Doom, or rather he is, but not in the way you'd expect. It still leaves the door wide open for him to be a Tony Stark variant. Confused? Let me explain how this wild concept could play out across Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, and even set up the long rumored reboot or reset, as Kevin Feige himself called it, for the entire MCU. So, Robert Downey Jr recently posted this image online, and while it might seem simple at first glance, there's actually a lot packed into it. It's a shot of West Coast Avengers issue number 35, next to a tablet showing a song playing on Spotify, Change of Scenery by Indio Downey, his own son. Now, stay with me, because this combination might be loaded with meaning. That particular West Coast Avengers comic actually revolves around Dr. Doom's son, and Robert Downey Jr is highlighting a song by his son in the same post. Coincidence? I don't think so. We might be looking at some kind of father-son storyline coming in Avengers Doomsday. But it gets even crazier. What if this points to a scenario where Doom isn't exactly Doom, but instead transfers his mind into someone else, maybe even Tony Stark? That's a theory that's been floating around for a while, and this photo might actually support it. In that comic, Dr. Doom is presumed dead, but when the West Coast Avengers encounter him, it's not the real Doom, it's actually his son, Kristoff. Kristoff isn't Doom's biological son, he's his heir. At that point in the story, he's ruling Latveria and fully believes he is Doom, because Victor transferred his memories and consciousness into him. So here's the kicker, what if Avengers Doomsday follows a similar arc, where the real Victor Von Doom transfers his consciousness into a Tony Stark variant? And Marvel might keep this hidden twist until the very last moment, setting us up for a huge third act reveal. Personally, I think there's a very strategic reason Marvel could choose to go down this route, and it ties directly into that MCU reset Feige teased for post-Secret Wars. But let's unpack this whole mind transfer idea first, then we'll circle back to the father-son aspect later. Let's say the real Victor Von Doom manages to transfer his mind into a Tony Stark variant. That opens up a whole lot of possibilities. First off, you get to bring back Robert Downey Jr, but with a twist. He'd be playing Dr. Doom, but a Doom with Tony Stark's body. He'd believe he's Doom because it is Doom's mind controlling him. It's somewhat similar to the dream walking concept introduced in Multiverse of Madness, but there's a key difference. Dream walking only lets you possess another version of yourself from the multiverse, not someone else entirely. But Doom, he's not just some guy in a metal suit, he's a high-level sorcerer. In fact, in the comics, he even becomes Sorcerer Supreme at one point. That's what makes Doom so dangerous. He's got brains, magical might, and next level tech all in one package. He's arguably the best villain Marvel has ever created. And Robert Downey Jr subtly nodding to mind-swapping Doom with that Instagram post? Yeah, we see you, RDJ. Now here's where things take a dark turn. There's this wild fan theory that Doom could transfer his consciousness into our Tony Stark's dead body. How? Maybe by striking a deal with Mephisto. Sounds crazy, right? But think about it. Tony's body was infused with the power of all 6 Infinity Stones at the end of Endgame. That might make it a powerful vessel. Of course, you could argue that Infinity Stones only work within the original universe, but hey, it's a theory. I'm more interested in why Marvel might even entertain this kind of storyline. Because it's actually kind of brilliant. They get to bring back RDJ without committing to a full Dr. Doom origin story yet. Let's be honest here, fans have been concerned about Doom not having enough build-up. He's a huge character, and throwing him into just 2 movies without backstory? that feels a bit rushed. But if Robert Downey Jr.'s version of Dr. Doom isn't the real Doom, then we get a clever workaround. Marvel can save the true Doom for after the reset. So picture this, we go through Doomsday and Secret Wars thinking we're seeing the real Doom, only for it to be revealed at the end that it was just a possessed Tony Stark variant. Then after the multiverse collapses and we get a clean slate, the real Doom finally appears, played by a different actor. Because let's be honest, Robert Downey Jr. isn't going to stick around long term as Doom in a rebooted MCU. But Marvel will need a Dr. Doom going forward. You can't just introduce the most complex villain in Marvel history, use him twice and drop him. He's not just a bad guy, he's got layers. His connection to the Fantastic Four alone deserves an entire arc. So this route gives us the best of both worlds. A compelling Doom story now, with Robert Downey Jr. bringing gravitas to the role, and room to develop the real Victor Von Doom in the next universe. Once we reset, Marvel can explore Doom's full backstory, his tragic childhood in Latveria, the death of his parents, his deep vendetta against Mephisto, his obsession with rescuing his mother from the Hell Realm, his accident that scars his face after trying to build a machine to contact her. There's so much depth to unpack, and in a brand new universe we'd finally have the time to do it right. But now, let's circle back to that father-son theme, because there's more there than you might think. I don't believe we'll actually see Kristoff, Doom's adopted son, in the movie. Instead, I think the father and son narrative might revolve around Franklin Richards, the son of Sue Storm and Reed Richards. There have been some pretty convincing plot leaks that say Doom ends up kidnapping Franklin in Avengers Doomsday. That's probably where the emotional thread comes from. Maybe Doom tries to shape Franklin in his own image, almost treating him like a surrogate son, but really just using him to achieve his own goals. And that would explain why Robert Downey Jr. deliberately chose to highlight a father and son song by his own son, right next to a comic where Doom's son takes up his mantle. So what do you think? Could this cryptic image be Marvel's way of teasing Dr. Doom's twisty storyline? Could we really see Tony Stark become a vessel for Victor Von Doom's mind? And are they planting the seeds now for a major reveal post Secret Wars? Let me know all your theories in the comments below. I'm seriously curious where you think this is headed. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay in the loop with all things Marvel, news, leaks, rumors and theories, hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.